billboard up that says, 1-800-INJURY. Well, somewhere in there it has to say this billboard is sponsored by so-and-so attorney or so-and-so. But that's kind of it. No restrictions on advertising. In other words, there aren't very many. So it'll be a little bit more wide open.
I was talking to a lawyer friend in town, and one of the big problems he had was that a lot of these lawyers are national in terms of their, mesothelioma, for example. And they were having to compete constantly with these out-of-date people. Are these rules, the new rules, to somewhat alleviate some of the problems?
I think, partly in a border area like Council Bluffs, because it's kind of interesting. In the Twin Cities, we're pretty laid back on our attorney advertising, and I'm guessing Nebraska is about the same. It's not just we don't have a lot of really tacky ads yet. And I'm guessing Nebraska is the same, but it was kind of interesting. In one of the comments that I saw, it was an attorney in Council Bluffs making the comment referring to those ambulance chasers in Omaha. Well, I don't think. I'm guessing that the lawyers in Omaha probably don't chase ambulances any more than the ones in Minneapolis or St. Paul. But it probably seems that way if you're in Council Bluffs, because you're on the Omaha TV station and you see lawyers doing things you're not allowed to do, especially if a client could go to that attorney in Omaha. If it's a federal matter of some kind, or if it's something that could be filed in either state, or it's one of those nationwide kind of things. So it's kind of a bigger issue there, and Sioux City, obviously is a border area. But it's penetrating the state too, because I was just listening to the radio last night. For some reason after midnight is when lawyers, I guess these weird people play whatever. So there were there were ads on every 5 minutes, from nationwide firms, even saying, we're not a law firm. I don't know what they are then, but Iowa clients are going to be just directly all the major numbers as people in other states. So it kind of puts the local attorney at a definite disadvantage, because you can't. They're not going to call his number because they heard the radio ad. So I think other than the constitutional issues, I think that was kind of a big motivating factor in the court and the state bar taking a look at this. So, but like I say, it's relatively unrestricted now. Rule 7.3 again talks about the sending the letters to the people who were arrested this weekend, and it's now I believe it's identical or very close to the model rule. In other words, the rule in Nebraska or Minnesota, Wisconsin are pretty much identical. Well, not Wisconsin, they have an exception. But so yes, you are allowed to do that. One thing they changed, though, you have to watch out for it, and you have to really dot your I's and cross your T's when you're following these, because the old rule said that the envelope had to have the words advertising material, and it had the exact type size that you had to print that, and that had to be on the envelope and on the material. Well, they changed that, so now you have to use the words advertising only. So if you are doing things like that, keep in mind that on January 1st, you have to change your language slightly, because otherwise you will be in violation of these liberalized rules. Other than that, they are about the same. But the copy that you had to send formerly to the Supreme Court, you don't have to do that anymore. That requirement is done away with. Even though, like I say, some states that otherwise follow the model rules, Indiana and Wisconsin, probably do have a requirement like that, that you have to send a copy of your ad to the state, maybe with an affidavit or something. And now you do have to hold on to those. That has to be in writing. You can't have a telephone contact with them. Well, and the rule is, well, solicit professional employment. Okay. Yeah, just moving on to a slightly different subject, soliciting a client in general. It's violation to solicit potential employment in person or by live phone contact, not only if a significant motive is for pecuniary gain. So if you see somebody get hurt, and out of the kindness of your heart, you tell them, you keep the suit about it, and I just happen to be a lawyer. If you can convince the board that that was not a pecuniary gain, then it's okay. Now, some things I know leave out there because probably difficult to prove.
I find this the most fascinating part of ethics, the ambulance. But in reality, it's probably better for potential clients than an attorney to be educated at. I know in Florida we have I was looking at it for somebody, and it's like this 40 hour, 72 hour waiting period after the accident before you actually can make contact with people, getting people to label. But, at that time, facilities may have already been destroyed. And, if you're down there and you happen to see our accident, happen to be a lawyer, you may want to take, lots of it, you may want to be a part of that because evidence would be destroyed and potentially affect the future case.
Yeah. Well, now, you're all allowed to do that. That's great. Because what the restriction is whether or not you can take that representation later on. So if you're a concerned citizen and want to,
well, I'm just saying as a lawyer.
Yeah, right.
I'm not defending ambulance. Yeah. It's just that, these restrictions, I understand why. Somebody's close to, it's an emotional situation, some family member has been killed, or, things, but there are no reasons for wanting to.
Some people should definitely have a lawyer. Yeah. But it can really be carried to an extreme. Now, in Minnesota, I don't know who Gary is exactly, but there are billboards all over town that they don't really say very much on them other than the phone number, 1-800-ASK-GARY. And I forget exactly what they say, but the implication is, if you're involved in an accident, you dial that number from the side of the road, and they'll get you taken care of. And it's if you look at the fine print, it's not a lawyer sponsoring it. The sponsor of the ad is like Physicians Group Inc. or something. It's a very vague name, but it's a lawyer physician referral number. But I think that's pushing it a little too much. It's kind of like let's not get an ambulance or call this number. The ambulance is on the way. Well, actually, the other end, they don't seem to be around anymore. But it showed it was a billboard with a cop, and he was standing there pointing, and all it said was, after 911, call 411. And it was 1-800-411-PAIN or something. And so again, it's the side of the road you're supposed to be calling. And and legitimately, I guess, you might, if somebody in that situation called me, there are some things I would tell them, like take pictures or get the names of people.